Namaste. Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my Friday chat live here on YouTube. And my name is Sadhana. For those of you that are just found your way wandering here through some link or another, I am an intuitive reader and healer. And usually on Fridays, I talk primarily about tarot decks. We talk about working as a reader and how to do readings. And this week, I was inspired. I was inspired by, um, hello, Donna. Hello, welcome. And Sharon's here as well too. I was inspired by a meme that was shared by Swami Atmarupa. Swami Atmarupa is the Satyananda teacher that I did. I've met her a few times. We've had connections in India. She is from Ohio, and I did my first Satyananda Yoga Nidra training with her, and connected kind of deeply with that school, and went back again for another stint in Ohio and did some further training there. And I follow her and her journey. She's very inspiring to me. And anyway, this post just really touched my heart. I had never really contemplated. I'm not even sure that JOMO, JOMO, had what do you call it? You know, when something clicks or it actually registers or sits with you. I'm not sure that I'd actually even thought about it. FOMO is something that we hear all the time, every day in the tarot world. And so I thought today I would talk a little bit about FOMO and JOMO, because I know it's a reality for all of us. I have 10 prompts below. My intention is to go through each of those and to share with you some of my stories. So welcome. Welcome. Lovely to have you all coming in. Who is here? Ellie, welcome. And Merlin's daughter. I'm sorry if I don't have all of your names down pat. Merlin's daughter, I'm just, my list of names has gotten so long, and if I don't talk to you regularly, so Merlin's daughter, you're going to have to remind me of your name. It should be here though, because I know recently I wrote it down. Anyway, if you want to share, I will write it down, and I will make an effort to print my list. Yeah, who else is here? Hannah's here, Janine, Audrey. Welcome to all of you. Yes, and for those of you that celebrate Easter and Passover, blessings to all of you. And for those who sit today in quiet contemplation and almost a bit of there's a mournful energy to today. So I want to also know that I respect that space. And perhaps the topic for today really fits into that. It fits into that idea of we really truly have everything that we need. And a sense of calmness might just be exactly what is in order for today. Welcome. So we also have here Tina. Lovely to see you, Tina. Cordis, hello. Dippity doo. Dippity doo. Also need to go through my list to find your name. And I know I have your name written down somewhere. Dippity doo is Heather. Heather, dippity doo, is this, is this, I know a couple of Heathers, so I just want to make sure this isn't the Heather in my class. Can you let me know? Mira, thank you. You must think I'm a real goof, not processing everybody's name, but there's something about writing it down that really helps. Hi, Mary Beth. Welcome. Who else do we have here? Diana, hello. Lydianne, welcome. Love it when you have these connections. Diana, I celebrate Easter because it's a resurrection of a nature. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I was named after the Hindu princess. No, a different Heather, although one day I plan to be a Heather in your class. So wouldn't that be lovely? I have a few classes that are up on my website, not too many. I have 2 sections of the 22-week course that are up there if you're interested. I created a morning class, so that's in the fall. I'm teaching Tarot Foundations for 22 weeks, and that's a morning section. There's, I believe, only one person's registered so far. And then next year, I will be doing the evening class again for 22 weeks. And I have to tell you, it's my favorite. It really is my favorite of all the classes that I teach. Um, I've had some really good series. I really like the Read With Me series, which is not up right now. And if anybody's interested in the 4-week class, Read With Me 1 or Read With Me 2, they have a different focus. I could put those up again. And yeah, the court card series is always a blast. I love court cards and working with them. Yeah. Okay, so Cordis is Greek, and the name Mira means divine fate from ancient Greece till now. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, Mira, I was a school teacher. So names are really important to me. And another thing that if I pronounce your name in some weird way that the vowels are all mucked up, please correct me and phonetically put your name into the chat so I can endeavor to pronounce it correctly. I I don't I I like it. I like to hear my name pronounced the way it's intended to be pronounced. So yeah. So my name is Sadhana. It's Sadhana. It's not Sadhana. Sadhana. Yeah. And if you call me by my given name, yeah, yeah, I'm Susan. But these days, I've really embraced my spiritual name, and that's where I feel most comfortable. Hi, Misty. Welcome. Yes, Mary Beth was in Foundations last year. Mhm. And the foundations group this year, they are having so much fun. They're meeting on Sundays and having these great chit chats on Sundays. So it's like a little study group, and they get together and they go into these deep conversations. It's really something. I'm really impressed. This group has come together so quickly. Yeah. Okay. So the topic for today, and I have made no cool little banners or anything. This is, I will refer to the description box below. I do have some card decks on the table that I will use to guide the conversation. Um, I just need to keep the chat open there. No, I could never see you as a Susan, and no offense to any other Susans out there. Yeah, we all have, um, anyway. Yeah. Oh, yes. Audrey's the one and only person that's registered for the fall. So anybody wants to meet the lovely Audrey, you can hop into that class in the fall. Okay. So FOMO, JOMO, I want to read with you and ask some questions so I can stay focused here. So I'm just reading from the description box. How has FOMO, fear of missing out, changed your experience with tarot? How has fear of missing out changed your experience with tarot? And how did I get a handle on FOMO and learn to embrace the joy of missing out? Well, I thought I would just start kind of chatting randomly about a few decks on my table. And mm, I I want to explain why I purchased these decks and how I raced to purchase them. And the honest truth is that most of them have never used. Never used. The new chapter tarot, I was really, really intrigued. I was intrigued. I'm glowing today. Maybe that's because I used, what do you call it? I used my gloves on my face in the shower. Thank you. Thank you, by the way. Um, I was really intrigued with this deck. And I am, I have always grown up. I have childhood friends that were from countries all over the world. I have always had the taste and the smell of different cuisines since I was a little girl. And I guess maybe I am unusual in that way. I don't know. I guess there are truly pockets of North America where diversity is not something that is an everyday commonplace thing. Um, I worked in restaurants my whole life. And so have always been aware of the queer community, and it was just part of who I am. And so as the discussions, the conversations about inclusivity, and I think the thing that truly bugs me is the tokenism. So if you are going to intentionally make um, a deck that is diverse, why in the world would you have one person of color or two, one token person in a wheelchair? Like if you're going to create a deck of inclusivity, then create a deck of inclusivity, right? And it's hard. It's hard to get everybody into a deck. But I was really intrigued with the backstory of Briggs. Their name is Briggs. Yes, Catherine. And this is the reason I jumped on this deck. I was afraid that I was going to miss something. Hi, Tammy Pie. Um, so this is why I've purchased this deck. And the truth is that I have, um, and I want to say new chapter. This one is new chapter. What is the apocalyptic deck? The post-apocalypse deck. That one is very, very intriguing to me as well too. Um, but the thing here is that one needs time, or at least I do. I want to get to know a deck. I want to I don't know. I don't know what I want to say here. So this was a grab deck. This was a deck that I grabbed out of, oh yeah, I need to have that. I don't want this deck to disappear. I know the decks. Is this a Liminal 11 deck? I think it is, right? So the decks at Liminal 11, even though you can purchase them on Amazon now, so Liminal 11 is that company in the UK that created. I have a few of them. I had one of them. I had 2 copies of the first one. Sorry, I can't even think of the name of it. Yeah, so I haven't used it because I haven't had time to to work with it, and I'm not going to start working with it without understanding it, and that's just how I am. Unless, of course, it's a deck that I feel immediately I can pick up and start reading with. Yeah, I don't know how that sits with you. I see a few other people have come in. Lena's here. Hi, Lena. Welcome. Oh, that's so beautiful. So Lena is following. I'm doing a mantra series on my yoga channel. And if there's a mod here that wouldn't mind putting up a link to that, if you can navigate your way there. Yeah, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We're going to start leaning into another mantra, building repertoire, and I don't know if repertoire is the right word, but just building energy. So thanks for mentioning that, Lena. It's awesome. I chose not to buy. I resist a lot for some decks, and it's important to reconsider whatever I have at home. Yeah. Next World, that's the one. So this is another deck that is diverse and includes a great, I don't know if the whole deck is of the queer community or not, but it has a lot of diversity in body size, and I believe there is disability of various sorts that's included. Wouldn't it be interesting to have a deck? And as far as like children or adults with Down syndrome, the only deck I've ever seen to include that is Poppy Pallen's deck. So I think we still have a long ways to go with this. Yeah. Hi, Sarah. Hello, hello. Okay. So Mary Beth says she restrained from buying Bone Stone and now it's gone and I regret not buying it. I have it and I want to say something. When is the last time you saw it on my channel? When is the last time you saw it on my channel? Okay, so there is, and I want to talk about strategies for embracing JOMO. For sure, we're going to do that today. But let's have a look at a few other stories here with decks that Lori's here. Hi, Lori. Okay, so let's look at another one. I want to talk about how I resisted something here. Now, this edition of the Naked Heart Tarot comes in a super fat box. I'm not sure what year I acquired this deck. And the beauty about this edition of the deck is it has a really, really chunky guidebook. And this is the second edition. So copyright is 2018. And in this guidebook, you get a lot of stuff that's not included in the current edition. And I hummed and I hawed and I hummed and I hawed about purchasing the new edition because in the new edition, there are new cards and some of the cards have been redone. This is, I didn't, in the end, I didn't, because I really, really appreciate this little guide, this thick little guidebook. And the truth is I don't need any more cards. The cards that are here do a great job. And I don't need another version with a couple of extra cards. Now I'm a little nutty, about my analysis and work with Kim Kranz's deck, The Wild Unknown, and I made a mistake. I want to say I made a mistake when I saw that there was a new edition with a celebratory colored version of one of the cards. Was it the Lover's card or Temperance or something? I bought it. I bought it. And how stupid is that to buy another version of the deck because there's one colored card? So I completely regret doing that. Could have colored the damn thing myself. So I personally have come to, I don't know, how do you feel about new versions with extra cards, expansion packs, and so forth? I had out on the table, I think I've put it away. I was using it for readings in the chakra class the other day, the Lonely Heart Tarot. And the Lonely Heart Tarot is when it came out for the latest Kickstarter, had different cards as well too. So there's a temptation to purchase there's a temptation to purchase the new version because you get more cards, or the cards are reassigned, or maybe the creator feels that they have done it better. And this is something I think that we would all, if you have a version, why do you need another version? It's just stuff. It's something I'm having a hard time with. Okay, Lori. I have no regrets about any of my 300 decks because there always inevitably comes a time that I pick it up because it is the right moment. And some I have as art collector's item. So, Mira, this is why I started to call my decks the library. It's my library of decks. And this year, I've decided this is definitely going to be a low buy year so that I can exercise, revisit, get to know some of my decks that I haven't been using because I have so many of them. I have so many decks that I have two cabinets full of decks, and I can't possibly use them if I keep piling more and more into my library. You guys are not helping Mary Beth get over her FOMO. Okay, so you're talking about Anatorian, and I think Anatorian has a special gift. She has a special gift. I also love her illustrations, and I would the color deck. Tarot of Echoes for me is a project that I'm really, really interested in. Um, Probably will purchase the deck. Um, and I, I saw in the chat, I wasn't watching every chat that went by. I know she is working in cooperation with another deck creator as well too. So she has more than one deck that's coming out. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's marketing. It's marketing. Hello, Van Vaniru. Vaniru, is that it? Vaniru, hello, welcome. I backed a deck on Kickstarter that I already have because it was a different color. Later, I learned that a few cards were modified, but still. Mhm. So for me, this is something that I'm stepping back this year because I just want to observe if I can get a handle on this. I shared with you a few different decks that I purchased the borderless version. And I'm trying to think what they were. One was the Messenger Oracle by Raven Fallon, right? The Messenger Oracle by Raven Fallon. And so not only were there extra cards, but there was also a shift in color. And I feel that the shift in energy was different. But in the end, I like the old version and regret purchasing the borderless version. And I did the same with one of Colette Baron-Reid decks. So Hay House published a borderless version, and I'm actually happier with the old version. So yeah. Now this is a deck, so you'll notice I do not have the borderless version. It took some time for me to get this deck. This is definitely a FOMO deck. I've heard so many of you talking about how much you love this deck. And I was so this is some time back, and it looked like this deck was going to be discontinued. This is before the borderless version came out. And so I went to great lengths to acquire this one. That's a great card, isn't it? Of course it is. Of course Sadhana likes that card. I have not worked with this deck yet. I have no intention of buying the borderless version. But this definitely was a FOMO deck for me. And I have heard nothing but great things about this deck. This has happened to me a couple of times on Kickstarter as well too. And I feel the, yeah, it just chokes me. It just chokes me when I open up a Kickstarter package and I don't feel excited. I feel that regret. So let's go to Donna's comment. I could feel my heart chakra squeeze at the thought of a library or 300 plus decks. I'm a ruthless color. And when you have a library, you have to keep track of your library. I mean, unless you alphabetize the decks or something, but that doesn't work because the boxes are all different sizes. Hello, Amanda. Welcome. Unless you are a specialized collector, it's a process of realizing what you need or what you want. I think that's really good advice. And you gave me I think it was you that gave me some really good advice. And that was when I was doing my, I did 2 culling videos recently, and I got rid of quite a few decks. And you asked me if you would repurchase it, then don't give it away. Like that was kind of the test. And yeah, so that's good. The truth is I wouldn't repurchase any of them. Goodbye, Lydian. Goodbye. Okay. Ooh, and Sharon colored her Tarot of the Abyss. Okay, let's I'm gonna go back to the comments. It's hard for me to flip cards and share at the same time. Katie, hello. I did gift myself the Star Child Tarot, even though I have the Moon Child Tarot, but I love it so much and I like the energy of the creator. Well, that's the thing. If you love it, then buy it. If you know you're going to use it, and perhaps you could use them side by side or something like that. And I know, Effie, you're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of people do feel this way. Yeah. I don't know if I will be of any help regarding FOMO, but I did eventually adopt a certain system before buying a new deck. It needs to have something new to teach me. Okay. Lily's here. Welcome to Lily. I saw your comment, Anna. We're going to get on to that. These are really good points. What does Amanda say here? Fashionistas have the same problem. Yes, for sure. For sure. And I think that happens with makeup, right? All kinds of things. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Andrew's here as well too. Welcome to Andrew. So I have a few others here that I spent a great amount of money on, and I'm not sure when in the world I am ever going to get to them. But what I would like to do right now is to talk about some of the prompts that I put below. And yeah. So if you go in the description box below, there are 10 prompts there. And the idea with these 10 prompts is it has to do with the joy of space, the joy of, hello, Varag, the joy of creating space and a sense of lightness around you. So a lot of these prompts are the energy is interconnected. So the first one is, how can you practice being present? How can you practice being present? Um, when when we are taking time, so a lot of you have done deep dives with me, you have studied with me, and you've heard me observing cards and saying, oh my God, I've never seen that before. Maybe I'm looking at a card in the camera. Maybe I'm looking at it from a different side because I've switched a position on my table, or the light is shining a certain way. And being present, or being present with your tarot, means really getting, for me, it means really getting to know your decks. Right now I am doing a deep dive on the Margaret Peterson tarot, which is a deck I've had for years. This is the one that came with the white borders that I trimmed off and I'm working with, and this is like a gift. I just, all I want to do is just to be present. So the aspect of JOMO and being present is that I'm I'm not paying attention to everything else around me. And we'll get into the details of that in a little bit. Being present with a deck also means that you have the opportunity for path working. You have an opportunity to um, sit thoughtfully and choose accompanying oracle decks that go with it. There's no rush. There's just beauty and a time to explore a deck's. Um, yeah, and Donna has a number 11 as well too. So I want to come back to that, and I will add that. And I know there's a way of star. I can star your comments so I can come back to it. Yay! Um, Barag says, work with what you have now. And that is one of the reasons why I I chose this. Okay, I also need to open up my notes because I have notes on this in a couple of places. So just um, yeah, so I think with this first one, the big thing is about reducing distractions. Once you have the deck in hand, I really don't think there's a need to watch a bunch of videos on it. It's really important just to sit with it. So being present with a deck means kind of diving into it in whatever way you feel comfortable, and working with it and exercising it. And who cares if the beautiful gilded edges start to get a little bit banged up? You know, it's about putting your energy into the deck. And yes, I believe you can put your energy into paper. It will linger. It will linger there. Okay. Um, it might sound odd, but I focus on a sense, like really looking at an area of the card, how it feels in my hand, and even smelling it. You are not alone. Okay. So the senses, the tactile experience, and this is a really, really good point. The tactile experience of working with a deck for some people is everything. For me, the shuffling process, the touching, those decks that just fan out so beautifully, that is that it brings me so much joy. And in those moments, I don't need any other deck because I've had this sensorial experience with the deck that feels very, very comforting. Okay, so let's go on to the second one because I know some of these are very, oh, actually, I can just look up here. So number 2 is, how can you be more intentional with your time? How can you be more intentional with your time? I feel that a strategy. So one project I'm working on right now is preparation for my Thoth deep dive. And so I have a strategy for preparing for that because I don't have an abundance of time to prepare for this series. But what I can do is I have a spread that I'm working with most every day, not every day, and I'm under absolutely no pressure to do a reading for myself every day. But I have the deck out here. I have chosen the mini version of the deck, and I'm looking at I'm focusing on the reading that I have drawn, and I leave the cards here, and um, it's very intentional. The other part of intention is with this deck for me is to start to learn the Hebrew letters because I know about the power of language and symbol. And I feel that if I can get a handle on the Hebrew letters, then the deck will shine something through to me much more. So, my intention with revisiting and studying and diving deeper into that is it's very focused. And I have do you have any of those pens, with a soft tip? And I love using soft tip pens. And so I wrote down the Hebrew letters. I'm researching the different ways to, like, there's a printed form and there's a scripty form and there's different forms. And so I find that fascinating. And so for me, intention, right? So this might not seem like an important part of studying the deck to some people, but it's a vehicle for me to go in and connect. Yeah. Lovely comments in the chat. Thank you all for joining in. Tamian says, I randomly grab decks in my collection just to shuffle them and do a little transfer of energy. I have a lovely armchair that is next to my tarot cabinet, and I like to do that too. I like to just take out a deck and feel it. And sometimes I'll be sitting with a deck. And I remember when I was looking at when I first got the Yonasa Yaos. Now, this is a deck that I know it's full of beautiful, thin young girls. But for me, this was an eye candy. This was a census of the eyes experience. And I knew that the colors, the shape perhaps, um, the fact that it's in a different language, it's in Galatian. Here, I'm sure you all know this deck, but I'll show you. When I sit and work with this deck, I'm in a different space, different place. And this might seem weird, but I have a couple of decks that are not in English. And of course, a lot of the Marseille decks are in French, and that's a whole other thing as well too. And I actually, this really applies. I did a video a while back on why I love working with Tarot de Marseille, and that has to do with connecting to another space and time and place, the past, and that sort of feeling. But working with this deck for me is like I said, it's a sensorial experience. And when I look at the multitude of thin young women, I don't feel repulsed. I see my daughters, and I choose to focus on something else. So what I focus on is I don't know. It's like it's an experience for me. And I want my decks to be an experience. And that has to do with the first one and the second one. So I'm very present with this deck. And when I'm working with it, I'm very intentional. And I know that the creator of this deck speaks a lot to Jodorowsky's work. And so I do have Jodorowsky's large book, and I pull that out and I work with that. So it's um it's intentional. Let's just say that. Okay. Tangent. Tangent. They say within the first 5 seconds you meet someone, you already sense if you like them or not. Wonder if that applies to decks. Um, I'm not sure, Andrew. I'm not sure. But what I can say is that if you purchase a deck and you are repulsed by it, it's like, oh my God, I need to get this deck out of my life. I have a different opinion than most people. I kind of feel like if you have that reaction to a deck, there's probably some deep, dark work that you need to do with it, something that you need to face. Not all the time, but my healer self says that's probably the case. Yeah. Okay. So number three is, what does it mean to engage in real life? And this is not, I think this is going to help shopping, shopping for tarot decks. So engaging in real life. I've done some really fun things with my tarot decks. I've taken my tarot decks out for walks, like packing, when the weather's nice, packing a blanket and some food, a journal, and going off somewhere and being present outside with my decks, being present in nature. I've taken photos of my decks in nature and different things, drawn a card and taken a photo, or seen a shape. I remember one time when I was going for a walk and I was seeing all these I was seeing the numbers in nature, and so I took pictures of cards and where I saw that energy and the shapes and the numbers and the lessons. So that's really fun. So number three says, what does it mean to engage in real life? So that's one example. We can take our decks off the tarot table and begin to use them. If you've never read for strangers, you can take a deck with you when you're traveling, or even just out and about, and you can take your deck out into a coffee shop and you can approach people, or let people, usually people will approach you. And you can do single card pulls. You can do a small reading for somebody. Engaging in life, engaging with humans, engaging with nature is really important. And for me, it's made me want to connect more with the decks that I have. And it's a beautiful experience. A lot of people talk about travel decks and what decks would you take for travel? Well, the truth is you can take any deck with you. Just take one and wrap it nicely and make sure you have a cloth or something to put down if you're not somewhere that's particularly clean, and have some wipes in your bag if your hands aren't clean and stuff like that. You can take any deck anywhere, even your favorite, most valuable deck that you spent $250 on, it's possible. Um, Engaging in real life also means taking time, not only with your tarot decks, but to pick up the phone and call somebody. To For me, it's the whole reaching out thing that's really important. Like when you feel like calling somebody, call somebody. The art of conversation, right? The art of communication is really getting lost, and sometimes when we get into that lure of YouTube. Oh, we're gonna miss so and so's live. We're gonna miss so and so's live. It's like, whatever. It's so much better to be with a real person, to talk, to touch, right? Engage. So yeah. So I think engaging in real life is really important. The fourth one is something that we can all work on, and that has to do with saying no. learning to say no. No, 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 no. And I've been receiving emails pretty much every day for the expansion pack of one of the decks that I have. And I'm at the point where I think I'm just going to unsub. I'm going to unsub from the mailing list because no, 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 no. I don't. Uh, I'm getting a lot stronger. I don't need it. Yesterday there was a pop-up. Kelly Bear was showing a deck, and she was testing out a new camera. And yeah, it's a pretty deck, but it's like, no, don't need that. Don't need that. There's another one, a beautiful, beautiful Kickstarter that I've been receiving because when you go to Kickstarter, you can say something about let me know when it goes live or something, and then they send you notifications about it. And it's so pretty. It's right up my alley. But you know what? I don't need it. I have a lot of pretty decks, and I'm just going to say no. And I know a lot of you are going to show it on your channels, and I'm going to be going like, yeah, okay. It's okay. You enjoy it. I don't need it. Um, I could probably tell you which one it is if I had my mail open. Um, Actually, I want to do that just to see how many of you are. I probably put it in the trash because I just didn't want to look at it anymore. I just have to go to Kickstarter. My trash is Kickstarter, Kickstarter, Kickstarter. There's a few actually. So the Field and Fountain Tarot has an oracle deck that had a Kickstarter, and I have so many beautiful animal decks, so that was a big no. That was a big no. And then the other one that I'm talking about, I wonder if you can guess what it is. I wonder wonder if you can guess. It's very colorful. It's kind of watercolory. I'm looking for it. I went way too far back with my Kickstarter notifications. Oh, well. Oh, wow. It should be near the top because I just trashed another thing today. There we go. Okay, here it is. It's called the Unfolding Path Tarot. Yes, Tammy Ann. Oh my God, you got it before I did. The Unfolding Path. And so I have decided it's a no for me. Aren't you clever? Aren't you clever? These are all great, great comments. All right, so we go on. Let's go on. Okay, so number 5. This is really important. And slowing down. Slowing down. There is I think physically, mentally, and emotionally slowing down is hugely important. To sit down and to read some of the guidebooks that you haven't read for your books. To sit down and read a book that is not tarot related. To, I don't know, like maybe this is about doing some cooking or some baking, or maybe there was some inspiration on Don Michelle's channel and you wanted to create some special journal page, or like slowing down and doing that edging project or trimming project that you haven't done. I know a lot of you have never trimmed a deck, so why not take some time and do that and have some fun in making a deck all your own. And besides that, I mean, there's lots of things. I was just looking to see if I have any here. You can color a deck. You can change the names on the deck. I absolutely loved that project with the Hush Tarot, which was to put the deck in a different order. For those of you that followed that series, there was a couple of people that inspired me to do that. Names are eluding me right now. Um, Mixtress Ray. I think she's the one. And she took like a chiseled ship, chiseled a chisel ch- a chisel edged Sharpie, and did a beautiful scroll over the where the title was, right? Let that dry and then put the new names on the cards, and they look gorgeous. So slowing down could also mean doing something with the tarot, but doing a project that you haven't done for a long time. You're funny, Mary Beth. You are so funny. Oh, that's not Mary Beth. Here's Mary Beth's comment. That's so funny. I love that. I love the I Love Lucy's references. Cordis, I actually got a message from a reading I did for myself to slow down. I was in too deep, and at first I thought I lost my connection with spirit, but slowing down and getting projects running, right? And being active outside of tarot. Hmm. The candy factory. Yes, yes. So it's like a candy shop. And the truth is, if you have the funds, you could probably buy a deck a day. There's so many decks out there. The Botan Tarot is one that those lovely blue edges. But I have to give a hard no to that as well too, because I know that I'm not going to use it. Not going to use it. Okay, so number 6 is, how can you reduce engagement with social media? Well, I have a few strategies that I have used. And I think that in this day and age, there's definitely a need for connection. We do find a lot of connection with people, and we have an opportunity to learn and to study and so forth. But I want to go way, way back. I want to go back to do you know who Dr. Andrew Weil is? Dr. Andrew Weil. He's a he's a wellness doctor, and somebody that I followed, oh my goodness, almost 30 years ago. I haven't seen his stuff in years, but I remember Dr. Weil saying something to the effect of, don't watch the news before you go to bed. This was 30 years ago. Somebody was telling us this. And there was, so what I did, not in this home, I don't have any TVs in this home, but in my last home where the kids grew up, there was a TV in the master bedroom. There was a TV in the living room, in the garage, which was a party room. There was a TV in the basement, which was another kind of family room. And I bought all these TVs. Anyway, slowly, especially the one in the bedroom, that went. I started to feel the effects of um, just the electronic energy and how much I might sleep better. So this is like electronics in general, and the whole idea with um, these waves of energy that don't serve sleeping well. So this is something I've been mindful of for some time, like no TV in the bedroom, no phones in the bedroom, no playing games on your phones at night. And this is something I swear I love to do. It's a discipline. So not engaging in social media. So another thing, if you have your phone charging at night, and I'm on the West Coast, so a lot of the UK tarot tubers go live just when I'm getting up. So it's, if I, especially on a weekend, right? If I'm sleeping in, it's 8 a.m. and a couple of people are going live. It's it's if my phone hadn't been charging on the floor next to my bed, I might not have checked out what was going on YouTube. So cutting down on social media means being mindful of where I place my phone, where I place my laptop, and so forth. And I think Cord has said it, and I mentioned a few other things, but just getting out of the house, starting to do other things, choosing to do other things, eating mindfully. When's the last time you had a meal and didn't watch something on your phone or your computer? Being more mindful of when you eat. And that's a really hard practice for a lot of people. Lena, had a period of about 6 months when I felt full and it was amazing. Yeah, I mean, and we do. We go through the ebb and flow of purchasing and so forth. Mm. And I think that's important too. So joy. Joy is a gift. And to allow yourselves to feel joyful. So not only is it okay to feel joyful about a lovely new deck that you're connecting with, but it's also okay to feel a little bit lighter and joyful by choosing not to engage. And I think this is a different experience because it means time. It means you have time to go into your vegetable garden. You have time. You can miss that live stream and you can go for a longer walk. You know, you're not really missing anything and you don't need to catch up. So, what I have, another way I've stopped engaging is I'm doing a lot less catching up with, um, yeah, I want to say with certain people's channels. As far as answering comments, and I know this must drive some of you crazy, I only answer comments once a week, maybe twice a week. So I go to my YouTube page, I go to the comments, it's all organized when you have a channel, and I answer the comments um, all together, and I go through them. And I know some of you'll get a response from me from multiple videos at the same time. So no apology. It's just me streamlining my time and trying to take time away from social media. Hmm. It's not good. It's not good at all. Hello, Aisha. Welcome. From the time my mother let me join the weekly reader book club when I was 6 years old, I've always read and not watched TV. But then books are another area. Yes, they are. They are another area of collecting for sure. Okay. Let's go through the rest kind of quickly because I have a session. I have a Reiki session after this. Let's see here. Um, Number 7, how might self-care influence JOMO? And I think this is a beautiful gift. So if we do something that feels good, if we take the time to do a self massage, if we take the time, whatever self-care means to you, there is, it's like the joy of missing out is so much greater because you are receiving that loving kindness from yourself. So I think number seven is really, really important. Number 8, have you considered a low buy year or creating a budget? And I don't know if everyone realizes the adrenal effect that money has on our physical, mental, emotional bodies. So what if, and how many of you actually keep track of the money you spend on tarot decks? And you look at it and it's like tens of thousands of dollars. And I know some of you have spent tens of thousands of dollars on decks. If money is no issue, then that's probably okay. But a low buy year also means that you have funds for more self care. A low buy year means you have funds for other things that mean more to you. So this is something that I want to observe carefully over this next 10 months or so. Number 9, how have you witnessed FOMO destroying a friend's, this is a hard one, hey? How have you witnessed FOMO destroying a friend's mental, emotional, or physical health? Sometimes we need to witness this in another in order to see it in ourselves. So, bye, Audrey. Um, so, what I have to say is that I've witnessed this insanity on many tarot channels, and I've also admired the opposite. I'm thinking about Anna Astral Tarot Lady. She's one I really admire. Seems very committed to certain decks and not this amassing of decks. And I I feel, I don't know what it is. It's just this, yeah. For me, just amassing and not using doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. So I'm just wondering if you have any personal experience with witnessing FOMO quite literally destroying somebody's life. Yeah, because I know I have. Number 10, and I know we have a number 11 as well too. Number 10 is, how might JOMO enhance your creativity? I talked about this a little bit. So what if, let's go back to the wild unknown. So what if I decided not to purchase the new version of the wild unknown with the colored justice card? I think that's the card it was. Then what I could have done was, while I was going through the Wild Unknown website, was get some inspiration for coloring one of the other versions of the deck that I have, right? So instead of feeling bad about missing out about the new version, then I'd spend time and put energy into my own. But I think in general, joy, Aisha, joy of missing out. The joy of missing out as opposed to the fear of missing out. So another example I gave earlier was Boho Tarot. Don Michelle puts a lot of love and energy and creativity into her tarot journals and tarot cards, and has inspired a lot of people to do that as well too. So if we are choosing to say no, no, no to all of these other decks and Kickstarters, then we have time and energy to take on one of those projects. But what about creativity outside of tarot? Again, this is a time thing. We only have so much time in the day. So the joy of missing out for me has made space. It's made lightness. It's made lightness, yeah. Aisha, it's about giving yourself permission not to follow the sheep. That's what it is. Giving yourself permission not to follow the sheep. To find a lightness of being around choosing something else, choosing to do something else. vicariously enjoy the images on somebody's page without actually purchasing the real thing. Right. So that's beautiful. So instead of, yeah, I love that, Lily. I'm sitting here knitting. Cordis just chimed in with this one. It might not help, but for me, it's also befriending intentional connection to the universe. Yeah. This whole thing, like gardening for me, is really important. And if I'm lost in social media or I can't miss somebody's live stream or something, I mean, it's one thing if I've been invited to join the chat, or maybe there's a particular issue that I want to be a part of the live stream, then yeah, I'm going to be there. But what about when I'm on that live stream, I get a notification for somebody coming on right after that. What I might do is go on early and just leave a message in the chat, say, "Hi, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy the chat," and then log off, right? I want to go back to number 11, which was from Donna. And this was earlier on. And, ooh, I can do that. So here we go. Donna, this is so cool. I love this new feature. Donna offered a number 11. What hole within are you trying to fill buying decks? Very good question, Donna. Very good question. So is perhaps this question is a can I use Lisa Papez as an example? So she has a series where she she goes through and she decides if she's going to buy a deck. You know, does this and one of you also mentioned this earlier as well too. Does the deck scratch an inch? Is there really a hole there? And I'm wondering as well too, Donna, if there's an aspect of, I don't know, why don't each of you answer this question? Because that's a really beautiful question. Is it keeping up? Keeping up with, if you don't have the deck, you can't keep up with the conversation? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I'm sure some of you will offer answers to that. I like that, Lena. Looking for the one perfect deck. Yeah. Okay. So let's take this a step deeper. So emotionally, all right, I can speak to the whole trip and wait, groovy wait thing, which cost me a fortune. Cost me so much money because I bought the expansion packs. And the reason I bought these, I have not bought the blackout. I had to stop because when I bought the trip and wait and the groovy wait and the expansion packs, I spent way too much money and I was just sick actually when I translated it into Canadian dollars. But the hole that this filled had something to do with my childhood. It had to do with velvet black light posters. It had to do with I don't know, Scooby-Doo. It had to do with a different age, a different time, um, a culture that's lost or a culture that I no longer participate in. So there was this, for me, the whole was it was a longing. It was a reminiscing kind of energy. What else? Can I give you another example of what hole did a particular deck fill? Well, this one that I'm using in the Facebook group now, this is the Materia Prima by Usi. And this also kind of took me back emotionally. I'm a nerd. So really, I'm a nerd at heart. I love science. And so with the whole yoga teaching, whether I'm teaching pranayam or whether I'm teaching breath or meditation or mudra, when I studied yoga nidra, and I was nerding out on neurobiology. So there's an intellectual hole. There for sure there was an intellectual hole in purchasing this deck that was filled. So I think this is a really good question that that Donna has posed. Okay. I think Lily's got a good point here. Yeah. If you have it, you belong to the pack. Yeah. Um, hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Janine's comment. Mine is something similar to Donna, referring to books. My love of books since I was younger. Images, color, imagination, and being swept into another world. So escapism. And I know that happens with people with tarot as well, too. Comfort. It's kind of a hard one to swallow, isn't it? Because I know that's true. That's true for a lot of people at different levels. Powerful, Mary Beth, very powerful. That's interesting. Rock, yes. Belonging. And you know what? The truth is you can belong. The truth is you can belong. You do belong. You're here. You're in the chat. You belong. And I think it takes a certain level of confidence to say no, a certain level of confidence to yeah, no, I get that. I get that. No more RWS clones for me. Yeah. Okay. I know for me, my commitment is to do my own research and to really look carefully at the deck. I have a few other ones here that I completely regret buying. Completely. This is one which might surprise you. I am so sorry that I purchased this, and we can have a conversation about it another time. But yeah, I didn't need this deck either. Anyway, we can talk about this more later. I can also do a video about decks in my collection that yeah. Anyway, let's go. Let's sign off for today, and everybody go and do something that makes you feel joyful, that makes you feel lighter. Go have some fun. Get your hands in the dirt. Go bake some cookies. Go knit. Knitting is so beautiful. I love knitting with bamboo needles. I love the sound of the shh, 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 shh. Right? That's like shuffling tarot cards. Yeah. Yes, I would be happy to talk about those decks. You're so welcome. Okay, well, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all very soon. I'll be back on Tuesday with Lenormand and live readings. Take good care of yourselves, okay? Bye, everybody.